Welcome to Higher Insights. I'm your host, Albrecht Heyer. Today we'll be talking about therapeutic foods with our guest, Bardell, who is also the CEO of Bioimmersion. Welcome to our show. Welcome back, actually.
Thank you, Dr. Heyer.
It's
Nice
been
to be here.
A while since you've been here, right?
I know. It's great to see you.
Now, we are continuing our discussions about therapeutic foods. Maybe we better say again what you consider therapeutic foods.
Therapeutic foods? Well, as we were just talking before we came on the air, we were in a major conference in Washington, D.C. before I came into the city, and very high-level speakers in holistic medicine and orthodox medicine, but the general consensus is that about 80 to 90% of our current chronic diseases worldwide could be either prevented or cured or reversed by changes in diet, and so our therapeutic foods are about that sort of thing, changes in diet, and of course changes in diet means changes in lifestyle.
But it goes back to that saying, let thy food be thy medicine,
Yes.
let thy medicine be thy food.
Exactly, exactly. Right. And so we took that very, very seriously in our work in 2004 when we founded Bioimmersion and started looking at what foods should we focus on to bring in and create a line that we could truly say are therapeutic. And so one by one we've sort of created product that is concentrated enough that it behaves like medicine in the body. And yeah.
Well, all foods actually could behave like medicine or like a toxin.
Yes, exactly.
It's either one or the other.
Exactly.
There's no middle ground.
Well, no, that's right. And actually one of the speakers at the medical convention I was in was a major oncologist, cancer specialist. And his point was that whatever we're taking into our bodies, it's kind of a balance. Some of it's carcinogenic, some of it's not. And if at the end of the day, the balance leads towards carcinogenic load, then you're going to have more of a risk of getting cancer. So the point is, try to take in things that really are favorable to your body. And
well, from the beginning, the body depended on foods for being a healthy body.
Exactly.
And as time went on, we kept taking off from that more and more and more until we have a total toxic diet.
Right. And I think, of course, you and I are on the side of sort of nature and holism in that, but I find it interesting that our own government is saying 5 to 9 fruits and vegetables a day, and which is wonderful. However, I think one thing that's left out of all that, how clean are the fruits and vegetables? What's the soil that they've been grown in?
Exactly.
You know, and are we talking about the fruits in a Cocoa Pop or some kind of fast food that, you know, is sprinkled with something, we call that fruits and vegetables.
That's right. Also, in most cases, we eat our diseases also.
Yes.
And in many cases, it's promoted.
Exactly.
Because you find that they call something healthy or so, but when you look at the sugar content of it, it's off the charts.
Exactly, exactly. And so we, in our website, what we do is not only do we have information regarding our product line, but then we talk about the bigger issues, about foods in general, and we give references to people like yourself who are really on the cutting edge of either having written books that people can educate themselves to start understanding what the issues are in food and how to start steering themselves towards really healthy eating.
Well, let's talk about some of the therapeutic foods themselves. Which is the first one that you would mention, actually?
The first one that I've mentioned.
One of the key ones.
Okay. Well, I would. That's a good question. It's a tough question to just right off the top. But I guess what I'd say is maybe the wild blueberry.
Yeah, right. One. Say wild blueberries.
Yeah.
Right.
And the reason I'm saying that is because blueberries are also called the brainberry, and people's neurology is challenged by the toxins that are loaded into our environment, and our thinking is not as sharp as it could be. Correct. Because of the damage that it causes to our brain itself. Mm-hmm. And some of the research that we've looked at early on in deciding what fruit should we bring in to deal with, for example, sharpening up the brain, we found research out of Tufts University and Dr. James Joseph to be very interesting because he demonstrated with rat models and various animal models that he could actually take a senile rat that was old and had senility because of that, and reverse their brain aging, reconnect their neurons, reverse free radical damage, and actually get them to be at a point to where they could be taught maze behavior again. In other words, they could remember something.
Right.
And so that was exciting to us, and so we brought in a blueberry concentrate, yep. Which is the purple part, and out of Nova Scotia, which was rated the #1 berry in North America for its ORAC value, which is...
Maybe we better explain what ORAC value is.
ORAC is a scientific unit of measurement, which ORAC actually means oxygen radical absorbent capacity. So it's the ability of any food to neutralize free radicals, which are those
Correct.
free molecules that cause damage.
Right.
And so the blueberry out of Nova Scotia, because it has an unusual diversity of anthocyanins, it has the highest ORAC per gram. Each one of our capsules contains 4,000 ORAC of ORAC value, which is a lot of free radical neutralizing ability. And actually, just for your information, it takes us 1.25 cups of blueberries to fill one capsule. So
you're saying if a person is taking 2 capsules a day, that they're getting about 3 cups of blueberries a day.
3 cups of blueberries,
3 cups of blueberries a day.
And it's not that we're not saying don't go out and eat some real blueberries and have a real meal, but how many people can do that all the time?
That's right.
And that's the point. It's kind of like, this is going to give you a helping hand.
And it's also seasonal in many areas, in many places, so you don't get it all the time.
Exactly.
Right. But there's also a link between blueberries and eyesight.
Yes, that's right.
I think we should mention them.
I know. And actually, before we developed the line, I noticed that my eyesight was getting a little bit troublesome, not to the point that I was getting ready to think about glasses. And I started taking my own product that we developed in 2004, and my eyes sharpened up. I still haven't had the need for glasses.
You still don't have the need of glasses?
No,
right,
no.
Right.
Yeah, we've had wonderful stories about the blueberry. I had a doctor tell me about somebody with rheumatoid arthritis and how they took 2 of the blueberries 3 times a day, and actually the individual was on a morphine patch, and it really corrected that. So, you know, anti-inflammatory is pretty amazing.
The interesting thing is also with something like wild blueberries in a capsule.
Yes.
But you cannot overdose.
No.
That's a
No. Yeah, and another thing that we do with the blueberry too, when we encapsulate, Dr. Heyer, we don't use any flowing agents. So, in other words, there's nothing else in there but the raw, freeze-dried blueberry
extract,
that's in the in the vegetarian capsule, and that's kind of our MO for all the product that we put together. So, you know, our brain is very much the center of our universe. And also in the research with Dr. Joseph, he demonstrated with Alzheimer rats, he would genetically manipulate the rats to where they'd have an Alzheimer-like syndrome, and he could reverse them out of that with blueberry. I mean, that just blew my mind, you know, seeing that kind of research. And we know that Alzheimer's is a growing phenomenon.
Oh, it is a growing phenomenon because the toxins that people are eating is a growing phenomenon.
Exactly.
Right? That's
and that's the whole thing. The body burden from the toxins is something that food can actually arm us and protect us from if we eat the right food.
That's right. Now, the next thing I want to mention is the probiotic area.
Yeah, right.
Because that's another area that's very important for the body. And also we used to get it from natural foods, but it's not there anymore.
Exactly, and that's another big area of our product line. In fact, we have 7 different products that have probiotic organisms in them. They're probiotic products, and we've taken the route of sourcing or utilizing good bacteria that you would get if you had a lot of good fermented foods coming in to your diet. Some of our bacteria come from Bulgaria. Bulgaria is known, Eastern Europe is known for its fermented dairy, fermented kefirs and yogurts and.
Well, one of these microorganisms is actually named after Bulgaria. It's
Exactly.
Bulgaricus, you know.
Yeah, and that's one of our good bugs. I like to call them bugs, but they're good bugs. And so it's Lactobacillus bulgaricus.
Right.
And so actually we have, I mean, we're honored to have our lead scientist in Bulgaria, Dr. Zheko, he's in his early 70s, and he's a microbiologist, but he's also a veterinary medical doctor. And he has a team then of human and animal doctors around him. But you know, the Bulgarian people have a history of knowing their family cultures, bacterial cultures, and so he's kind of leading the research and picking and choosing the bugs we get from over there based on bench science. And some of them are literally right out of the food chains, so to speak, bugs that.
Well, what it comes down to actually that life practically cannot exist. Human life, at least, not without the probiotics.
Oh yes. Well, when we think that our gastrointestinal tract has about 100 trillion microorganisms in it, and our total cell mass is only 10 trillion, there's 10 times more good and bad bugs in our gut than there is in our total cell mass, and they're producing proteins and doing their things and having their battles. And the problem is people's profile down there of bugs have gotten in a bad percentages. And so with probiotics, we're moving the percentages where they need to be.
Right. Well, we have to take a short break for our sponsors. We'll be right back.
Okay.
NutriPharma wants to welcome you to its state-of-the-art holistic pharmacy, conveniently located at 6 East 46th Street between 5th and Madison Avenue. NutriPharma is unique and represents one of the most comprehensive and advanced nutritionally oriented compounding pharmacies in the United States. In NutriPharma, you'll find one of the largest selections of vitamins, minerals, herbal extracts, homeopathic remedies, aromatherapy essences, Ayurvedic formulas, and hard-to-get specialty nutrient supplements. NutriPharma's courteous and professionally trained staff is always ready to answer all your questions. Whether you need just basic nutrients or advanced formulas, NutriPharma can fulfill all your needs. Visit NutriPharma today and enjoy one-stop shopping for all your supplements. Or call NutriPharma today at 212-983-8291. Welcome back to Higher Insights. As you know, today we are talking about therapeutic foods with our guest, Sean Bardell. Well, we're just talking about the probiotics, but let's now move to another area, the cruciferous vegetables also. Okay. I think you have some products also that contain that, right?
Yeah. The whole issue of oxidative stress in the body, where because of the toxic load, because of the pathogens, because of the stress of life, our body's generating these reactive molecules that need to be neutralized. Right. And we can go after that and arm our body in several ways with foods. One is through really powerful colored fruits, the blueberry being one of the kings. The other is to go after it through cruciferous vegetables. And so what we did is we selected seeds that grow broccoli or grow daikon radish or grow kale, grow a watercress, these kinds of things. Brussels sprouts, and we grew the seeds for 3 days into sprouts and then harvested them on the third day, because at the third day they're highest in their content of what are called glucosinolates.
I see.
And the glucosinolates, then when we can eat these sprouts or eat a broccoli, but the sprouts are way more powerful in the glucosinolates,
Than the vegetable itself.
Than the vegetable itself,
Right.
because it's embryonic food to feed the growing vegetable, and it's really packed with these nutrients that protect it from oxidation.
Right.
And so the glucosinolate family of phytonutrients is what we're going for with these sprouts. And so when you ingest these, what they do is they stimulate our cells, all cells of the body, to produce what are called phase 2 enzymes. And phase 2 enzymes are responsible for protecting against cancer, responsible for detoxing the body from these various toxins, protecting against free radicals, and in particular, liver cells produce a phase 2 liver detox, and that's big time responsible for cleaning up the blood and not dumping toxins back in the blood. So we, in our bench trials, actually measured the ingesting of the cruciferous sprouts, and either 4 capsules a day or 1 teaspoon a day made a huge difference in the output of phase 2 liver enzymes, which is a big deal.
Right, right, because with that you can help prevent many of the existing liver diseases, which are also rampant at the moment.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And if I could say one more thing, you know, with the liver, we sometimes talk about phase 1 detox, phase 2 detox, phase 3 detox.
Right.
Phase 1 detox is helped a great deal by blueberry.
Yeah, yeah.
So you get the blueberry helping the liver there, you get the cruciferous coming in and helping the liver there, and again, all the blood is running through the liver to be cleaned, and if the liver can't clean it, it's coming back out into the body, into the system to further create illness.
But it also, the cruciferous can help also clear the gallbladder.
Oh yes.
That's you know, which I think is also becoming quite rampant in the obstructions and so on that they have in the gallbladder.
Exactly.
At present.
Exactly.
Because again of the toxic foods that they are eating.
Yeah. I find it interesting too, Dr. Heyer, you know, in animal models where they actually neutralize the animal's ability to produce a lot of phase 2 enzymes, they have a 20% lifespan, and they invariably get cancers.
Yeah.
So it's you know, cancer is one of the major chronic diseases that's inflicting all people in the world now.
And it's only spreading more, it's not getting better.
Yeah, exactly.
Because we are not dealing with some of the core causes of it.
Exactly. So when I talk like with the therapeutic food platform, I guess you could say, I think of the probiotics as a main thing coming in. I think of the blueberry to keep the brain and the nervous system and the inflammation in the body down. And I think of the cruciferous as a main thing. I mean, you're really arming yourself powerfully. And then I'd probably add maybe a mineral or two of our formulas, just in terms of what we've produced.
Yeah.
And
now, you just mentioned minerals. Let's talk about boron for a moment.
The boron's some scientists call it the master mineral.
Yeah.
It's very important to a lot of metabolic pathways. And we actually were able to get a form of boron that is actually a patented form of boron from Serbian scientists that we work with, that where they took the boron ion and they bound it to 2 fructose molecules, and it duplicates how boron is in nature. Boron is always found bound to carbohydrate, and in pears or plums or something like this. But so we have it in a capsule, and you're getting a nice dose of the boron, and it goes into the stomach. It doesn't break off from its fructose bond. It actually transits into the systemic circulation, and you really get a strong modulating hit of the boron. And one of the things it does, it helps with bone density. And so for all of us are dealing with losing bone as we get over 35.
Right.
And so then it also helps with reducing inflammation in joints.
Right.
And we've done trials in Serbia, in Yugoslavia, where we were able to clearly show in over 70% of the patients we could reduce swelling in joints by taking 1 to 2 to 2 twice a day of the boron. And then also boron tends to elevate blood levels of steroid hormones. So we measured testosterone, DHEA, estrogens, and we just on, like, for example, DHEA, that very important hormone, it raised it by 50% on the average in terms of the blood levels. That's important in terms of stress, because as people are stressed out, their cortisol levels go up, and that becomes
the DHA
goes down.
Right.
And so you can balance that by having somehow to turn on the DHEA production, and the fructoborate does that.
But boron also have a couple of other good things with it. I mean, for instance, the cartilage.
Yes.
And it helps build up cartilage.
Yes,
and things
exactly.
Like that. So,
I mean, it does a number of things. I have doctors who tell me it helps with asthma. And I kind of wondered, so how does it help with asthma? I'm not sure how it helps with asthma, but they always use it with asthma. And I know asthma is a huge growing problem. But, you know, it's again one of those basic things. I think in North America, it's generally assumed that it's depleted in the soils. So that means that our plants and things that we're eating don't have enough boron in it. And could be a large reason for so much osteoarthritis, osteoporosis in our country.
Oh yeah, it's definitely missing out of the regular foods.
Yes.
Because there are various types of pesticides and herbicides that actually will help destroy the boron or convert the boron, and that it's useless for human consumption.
Yes, exactly. So, I mean, that's why...
What's the main source of boron, would you say?
I think prunes are very good. I think of some seeds and nuts, certain fruits, pears are
right,
good.
Exactly right. I think prunes is one that have the highest contents of boron.
Yes,
in it.
yes.
Or plums. No?
Plums, yeah,
plums,
exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Now, when we put all this together, what is a good combination of all these things?
Well, I feel like with what we call the therapeutic food platform, and that's why I call it platform, it's kind of like a platform for health. You know, if you kind of get these basics coming in, and we're assuming now a person is also trying to change their diet and trying to get things right, but even if they're still not there, because it's hard to
But changing diet means changing lifestyle.
It's a changing lifestyle. It's a huge thing. And so these get your body armed, nurtured. This platform nurtures your body. So it would be the wild blueberry, I would say 1 capsule a day. I would say the probiotics, I would say 1 capsule or 1 teaspoon a day, depending on the powder or the capsule. I would say with the fructoborate, 1 capsule a day. Did I say cruciferous?
No, you didn't mention
that
yet. Yeah.
With the cruciferous, I'd say 4 capsules, maybe 3 times a week, or a teaspoon 3 times a week. Now that's assuming you're relatively okay, and you're just trying to protect yourself.
Right.
I mean, that's going to be protect, and it could do some reversing. But if it's not quite getting the job done, then I'd say take more.
Of course, because you cannot overdose on these
Yeah,
things. Yeah,
exactly.
Practically normal food.
Exactly.
Now, to digress for a moment to the probiotics, now you have about a few different types of probiotics. Maybe you can explain what the different probiotics
I would like to.
do. Right.
Okay, so we have 2 different groups. We have the American collection of good bugs, and we have the Bulgarian collection of good bugs.
Right.
So with our American collection of good bugs, we got 2 powders, and we got 1 capsule product. The powders are have good bugs and fiber, and so that one of them. Do you want me to give you a name of one of them, or
sure,
yeah? So that one is called the original symbiotic, good bugs and fiber. Then we have the beta-glucan one, which has a little bit more fiber and variety of fiber in the good bugs. Then
What's the role of, maybe we better explain beta-glucan, what that does.
Okay. So the beta-glucan symbiotic formula has some oat bran in it. And oat bran has a soluble fiber called beta-glucan. And so we concentrate the beta-glucan fibers, and it comes in shorter and longer lengths. The shorter lengths prime the immune system. They kind of wake up the immune system to kind of protect better. The longer ones actually lower LDL cholesterol, the bad cholesterol. So that's why we like beta-glucan fibers. Also, there's red beetroot in the beta-glucan symbiotic formula, and the red beetroot raises HDL cholesterol, which is good cholesterol, and lowers triglycerides. So the whole blood profile, cardiovascular speaking, gets improved with the beta-glucan fibers. And then there's high ORAC. And we love high ORAC because it is in a capsule. It's 25 billion bug count, which is a high bug count. Wild blueberry extract, wild bilberry extract, grape and grapeseed extract, raspberry and raspberry seed extract, tart cherry, cranberry, and prune are in that capsule, freeze-dried. So you're kind of getting a fruit cocktail in the bugs in just one capsule. So that's the American collection.
Yeah. Now, one does not use just one of those. So in other words, you mentioned about 3 different types of things, because they are all different type of bugs, as you call them.
Yeah.
So you have to combine the bugs.
I think so. I think it's fine to combine, but you know, it's just like food. You have to do it always the same way. Some days you feel like, I think I'll take my capsule and take all that fruit cocktail in there. Another day you think, I think I'm going to take the fiber. But consistency is important. And so it depends on how they kind of set themselves up. Sometimes a person will take a little of the powder in the capsule, or you can just kind of move it around. And then if you understood if we talked about the Bulgarian bugs, you could bring those in too and combine those. So there's no problem in that, Dr.
Is there
Heyer.
much of a difference between capsule and powder?
In the content of the fiber, because you can't put very much fiber in a capsule. So that's where the powdered product becomes more of a fiber product or prebiotic product.
That's actually the only
the only major difference there.
Right. Now, to come back one more time to the cruciferous.
Okay.
Right. Again, are they all together in one capsule? Or do you have also various?
Well, we have powdered cruciferous, and we have capsule cruciferous. Now, the reason we made the capsule cruciferous, because the powder tastes very cruciferousy. So if a person can't handle the taste of broccoli, then they take the capsules.
I see.
But actually, if you take that and mix it with a beta-glucan, it masks it.
Well, we're coming to the end of our program. I want to thank you very much for being with us again today.
My pleasure.
And thank our viewers for being with us again today. See you next time.